Welcome to ShadowMeTarot. This is a Lenormand unboxing. I have Monica Bodirsky's tarot deck, which is amazing, phenomenal, childish. I absolutely love it. So I saw this and I was like, I'm loving Lenormand. I'm going to open up this Lenormand deck, or I'm going to buy this Lenormand deck because her artwork, it resonates with me so well, of like 1980s like scholastic books. That's how I feel about it. It's bringing me back to elementary school with this artwork. But this is Monica Bodirsky. And let's see what we have here. It's got Monica Bodirsky. She goes by she, her, is a first generation Canadian artist, author, and practitioner of the mystical arts, and is of Northern and Eastern European heritage. She identifies as a settler, gratefully living in Toronto, on the traditional territory of the Mississaugas of the Credit Nation, the Anishinaabeg, Chippewa, Haudenosaunee, Metis, and Inuit people. Informed by an inherited gift for advising and seership, she is passionate about making creative tools that foster self-awareness, empowerment, and earth-based spirituality. She is the artist and author of several oracle decks, including Shadowland Tarot, which I have is amazing, and is the founder of the Witchfest North Arts and Culture Festival, Cats, Coffee, and Tarot Society, and the International Museum of Mystical Arts. A sought-after international speaker and consultant, she currently resides in an enchanted home with her life partner, Alan. A deck for shadow and light. Fear of what we can't see has the ability to conjure images of hungry beasts ready to pounce from the shadows. Yet it is within the shadows where hidden truth is revealed. Become acquainted with the shadow aspects of our archetypal personalities through the playful and quirky ink and watercolor creatures that compose this 36-card Lenormand deck and accompanying guidebook. All right, so I love that she stuck with her. This is kind of like the exact same thing for her tarot. So here is her Shadowland Tarot. It is almost the same exact size. The Lenormand deck obviously is a little larger, but it still has the same gilded edges, and hopefully similar artwork. All right, so I have these two blank cards in the box, so we'll just put those aside. Monica Bodirsky, Shadowland Lenormand, and let's see what it says here. She released this in 2021. I walked into the shadows blindly and returned with 20/20 vision. This deck is dedicated to my husband, partner, and best friend, Alan, in shadows and light. This goes over Lenormand being referred to Tarot's little sister. Let's see. Oh, this is kind of nice. This is like the story of her deck. I'm going to read it just because. I want to make sure. Wait. Okay. Nightfall and darkness are often associated with danger. Fear of what we cannot see is a vestige of our ancestral memories of hungry beasts ready to pounce from the shadows. Now we have spaces that keep us physically safe relative to our ancestry. But what about psychological shadows? Swiss psychologist Carl Jung spent many years delving into the minds of patients and created a system of universal archetypes and symbols, synchronicity, and collective unconscious. I just want to say here, I studied Jung in college, and he literally made himself crazy. Like, there are very analytical thinkers, and there's very artistic thinkers, and I really feel like Jung gave voice to artistic thinkers, because that's where we kind of really get a lot of our art therapy. But he literally allowed himself to go crazy and then pulled himself out and documented his journey. That's why I find Jung amazing, and he really did discover some, I think, pretty important truths in psychology. I'm not the only one. I'm pretty sure there's like, I don't know, colleges and books dedicated to Carl Jung, but I like him as well. Anyways, Swiss psychologist, Yeah, we'll just do this. Swiss psychologist Carl Jung spent many years delving into the minds of patients and created a system of universal archetypes and symbols, synchronicity, and collective unconscious. Raised by a religious father and mother who claimed to have spiritual visitations each night, perhaps this is why his theories and views of the universe are more open to spiritual possibilities than many mainstream psychological concepts. I don't know. I like Jung a lot. Jung is also known for his theory that states we all have parts of our personalities rejected by our conscious ego due to embarrassment or fear. He named those lost, unrecognized parts of the self as shadows. This is a complex issue. While an oracle deck can't be considered a substitute for therapy, using this tool for self-awareness can offer suggestions for reflection and recognition, helping you integrate all parts of your personality. Yes, absolutely. I came to Lenormand and Tarot for the same exact reason, and I use it as part of my own therapy. In increasing self-awareness, we have the opportunity to become self-actualized and whole. We learn to accept that all human beings are imperfect, and perhaps then we can become kinder to ourselves as well as others. When we look into the shadows of our minds, we are not finding fault, criticizing, or beating ourselves up, but merely separating our internal issues from external ones, which will help us define our boundaries. In my own witchcraft practice, I find comfort in the unknowable shadows that represent the liminal spaces of dusk, dawn, and nighttime. The magic of shadows and tools for divination represent spiritual portals into which I can travel and return with information. Let this deck be a tool for you, for your self-awareness and growth, offering a way to travel to other realms to receive information. So this is just how she kind of came up with it. She's got reflection. She's describing the book. It gives a little bit of history on Marie Anne Lenormand, which is in almost every Lenormand book. The language of Lenormand. What I like about Lenormand is it's very formulaic. So basically, each of the cards, and you can do this in tarot too. You do this in tarot too, but I don't know. Lenormand is super. It's like A plus B equals C all the time. In any card that you compare, as long as they're next to each other, or it can be linearly traced, like diagonally up or down or sideways, however. Okay, now it moves into the cards. I'm disappointed that there is not a spread in here. Where is the spread? Oh, here we go. Here are the spreads. 2-card spread. Let's see what we have here. This is how to shuffle. How to use Lenormand cards with other divination. Maybe I should read this because I haven't read that on here. And many of us who are getting into Lenormand have already been doing tarot or vice versa. So let's look. How to use Lenormand cards with other divination systems. I've been mixing and matching oracle cards and divination methods for many years. As a young child, I would choose small beach pebbles to use as oracles. As I matured, I added a variety of methods to practice, including my many types of oracle cards, playing cards, curio, castings, runes, and scrying. Because tarot was more familiar at the time, I received my first Lenormand deck as a teenager. I used the tarot to support my understanding of Lenormand cards. Now I mix and match many different systems so that I can gain a wider perspective and variety of ways of seeing the situation. Try crystals, rocks, oracles, curios such as metal coins or bones or tarot with Lenormand to expand your divination skills. I would advise that whichever system you choose to combine, you use them respectfully by understanding their original usage, culture, and lore. So then it says a single card reading, morning card, and evening reflection. Well, let's see. I'll read this one to you. Leave time early in the morning to sit quietly with your deck and a journal. Draw a single card and record it with a few key points. You can do this and meditate on the image, noting whatever comes to mind, or you may ask a specific question, such as which message do I need right now to help me with challenges or situations of the day. Writing down your answers or using the reflections questions from the book. Check back later in the evening to see what happened during the day that relates to the message you received. Sometimes the connections are apparent, other times they are subtle. This is often effective if repeated over a series of days instead of simply simply once, so you can keep track of any changes, progressions, or patterns. After you have made notations about your card or cards over a period of time, take a moment to reflect on the following. What advice are you being given in general and specifically? How did your message manifest or unfold throughout the day, week, or month? Over a period of time, was this card or a group of cards reflecting your current life, warning or encouraging? 2-card spread for shadows. 2-card shadow spread. Shuffle and place 1 card face down on the left and the other on the right. What are the questions? One is the shadow you are not recognizing. 2 is the solution or advice for your shadow. Then this is the 3-card spread for ancestral inspiration. It says, I use this layout when faced with choices that are more intricate and when I feel the need to call upon the strength of ancestors for clarity. I use the term ancestors to refer to family or community that stretches back to the dawn of our existence. If you wish to call upon a specific relative that you think may assist, it is best not to expect the person has suddenly become all-knowing or has great advice simply because they've died. To begin, shuffle and lay 3 cards face up, 1 at a time from left to right. The first card on the left signifies the cause of your situation, and the second from the left or middle card indicates your challenge. The third card on the far right indicates the suggestion your ancestors are offering as a resolution to your situation. This is a really nice way of describing past, present, future, past, present, outcome. I think this is a really, really nice way of describing that process, and how important it is to ask a good detailed question. Here, you're specifically asking for your soul family. You're specifically asking for your ancestors, or you're specifically asking for a recently or since past family member. All right, here's another 3-card one. It says mind, body, and spirit for seeking balance. Shuffle and lay 3 cards face up, 1 at a time from left to right. The first card on the left signifies your body and how your health is at the moment. Look at all the advice contained within the card, as well as the physical outcome or comment. The second and middle card indicates where your current state of mind is and any challenges you may be facing at the moment. The third card on the far right indicates how your spiritual health is at the moment and will offer suggestions or outlets for you to express your spirituality. The 9-card blockbuster. A lot of people use this one. And I'm just kind of, we're just going to end up reading the whole thing, guys. If you want to fast forward, I want to read it. So, this is part of the unboxing. And this time, I don't always read this much of the books. So if you want to skip forward, you obviously can do that. But I like reading about the spreads, and I'm learning Lenormand, so you get to learn with me. 9-card blockbuster. This particular spread is perfect for facilitating breakthroughs and offers clarity when you are engaging in creative problem solving and unsure of what is blocking your progress. Ensure you are building sentences or reading all 3 cards in context. To create the layout, shuffle the cards well and clear your mind, then focus on the perceived problem you wish to resolve. Number 1, place the first card face down in front of you. Card 2 is then placed to the right, and card number 3 to the right of it. Look, you can see how it is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 in sequential order of 3 rows. Okay. Let's see. I don't know why you have to describe how to lay out those cards. Anyway. To interpret the layout, read the center row from left to right in a full sentence. Center row from left to right. Oh, I see. Oh, okay. So it's telling you to do, here's the center row. Read it 4, 5, 6 as one sentence. Then the top row. Ooh, this does not give me as many as I'd really like. All right, so this is, read the center row. This is the core issue of your block. So this, if you think of this as heaven and this is hell, or No, that's not really true. This is you. This is what you think about. This is what's in your control. Oopsies. This is what you think about. This is you. This is what you think about. This is what you're in control. I think that's what this is basically trying to describe. And this is, you can read this as like, I don't like this. This one I don't really like. And the funny part of this is that this is describing a different layout than what's up here. It's saying cards 7, 8, and 9 are then drawn left to right and placed above the center row. Up here. I'm like, that's above the center row. Whatever. This is you. This is what you think about. This is what is in your control. That's essentially what they're getting to. So this is your core issue. This is what contributes to your block. And this is what Spirit is guiding you. Is how Spirit is trying to guide you, is what their what the higher perspective is. Anyways, this was poorly written. It may have been poorly delivered too, but I'm going to say it was poorly written first. All right, and then we have the Le Grand Tableau. This is all of the cards laid out. You have 4 rows of 8 and then these 4 extra cards at the bottom. And then you read them. First, you find the man somewhere in here, but you read it based on its position, like 1 through 36. Because each position, like the first position is like news, the second position is luck, the third position is travel, the fourth position is home, the fifth position is health. And then whatever lands on that, right? So like if you have in this first box here, which is supposed to be news, and the bear shows up there, right? The bear lands on it, which is number 15. That means news of money, right? It's super formulaic. I freaking love this. But I seem to really get Lenormand really well with Grand Tableau. So when I need real guidance, like I'm just like not okay, this is what I use in order to get clarity. More than tarot, more than anything else, I feel like I get super clear, concise messages from here that are like sentence structured instead of emotionally structured, I guess. Okay, so that is, this says, so there are specific things with Lenormand too that when you see like 3 cards together, they are a specific meaning. So it's saying fish, ship, clover, which would be like finances, relationships are ring, heart, moon, garden, and health is heart and tree. Yeah, you're gonna have to read up on those. But and these little books that they have, like I have let's see. Sorry. I have this one, The Gilded Reverie. This is pretty cool. Maybe we'll even compare this as we go through the deck. But let's go ahead and read this last little bit and then we'll get started with the cards. Finally, only 20 minutes in. Lenormand with other divination methods. If you feel stuck or find yourself in a rut or feel you are reading the same messages repeatedly, try something different and think of what other divination systems you enjoy using, such as crystals, curios, or tarot cards. Simply try asking a question, drawing a card, and then using a curio, rune, or crystal and placing them together. Lenormand with tarot, try using a single card and asking a question. Place your Lenormand card upright in front of you. Shuffle your tarot deck and pull a card, placing it upright next to your Lenormand card. Ask yourself the following. What symbols, if any, are repeated? 2, how do these images work together or contradict one another? And that's that. There we go. Let's do this. All right, guys, it's taken me a minute to decide, and maybe you guys can tell me in the video, those of you who work with Lenormand, how you would like to see it. Like I always compare the tarot decks with a Rider-Waite deck, just a traditional Rider-Waite. There isn't like a really traditional Lenormand. They're all just Lenormand. I don't know how to, anyways, I think the old ones kind of look like this or like this. And I'm actually going to use this deck probably to kind of compare as the definitions. But I did want to just show that there's other decks out there like like this that just have all different kinds of like images. But I'm super excited for this one. So we're going to just compare, I think, to the traditional. You can see that the writer in here is very different. He very much looks to me like the flea on a dog's back, right? It's kind of like our earthly experience on some level. What I do want to do is kind of compare a little bit of the meanings, I guess, from one deck to another, just to kind of show how they are. So we're going to start with the number 1 card here, which is the writer. It says, a little creature with antenna rides and waves from the top of a speedy 8-legged creature. The message, or the keywords are message, messenger, communication, speed, delivery, new romance, or passion. And for this very traditional meaning, it is news, mail, arrival, visitor, or something new. But it also goes through for this one. It says, okay, this is like, if you're talking about a person, this is what the person is like. If you're talking about health, this is the health that's related to. If you're talking about spirit, this is what the spirit is related to. Advice. Whereas here, this feels very tarot in meaning. A number 1 is always a new message, right? Or it's just, it means new. I don't know. I do feel like news, mail, just news. I always think of this as being news, not necessarily a message, messenger, or communication, but same, 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. This is saying in the shadow, which means like, does that mean you read it in the reverse in this deck? Fleeting, impulsive, reckless thought, words, or action. Getting a real fool vibe from that. Message, take notice something or someone is arriving quickly, and maybe a simple letter or a new and exciting love interest. While we value speed, remember that it can sometimes lead to mistakes, especially if decisions are made impulsively. Scrutinize people or messages that seem too good to be true, or those who pressure you into questionable commitments with fast talk. There may be a quirky message or unusual delivery method attached to this message. The closer the writer card is to the center of your spread or your chosen seeker or significator card, the quicker the news. Also note the surrounding cards indicate the type of news. The card is a speed modifier and can evoke the word fast when interpreted in conjunction with other cards. Reflection questions. What type of news would make you happy at this moment? 2, is there a particular romantic adventure that sounds intriguing to you? 3, where or when do you act impulsively? And I'm going to just read this one too, because I felt like when I was reading through this that it really conveyed the message of the Lenormand pretty well. So we're just going to compare these first messages here. Number 1, the poem says, heed well, good news from the cavalier. Impassioned views promised good cheer. Sadness that hides, veiled in the day, once disguised, soon flies away. So whatever feeling that has left you with, I am not convinced that this is really embodying the writer definitions, or at least the book isn't embodying how I have come to know some of the writer meanings, or for the Lenormand anyway. Okay, number 2 is the clover. Oh, I gotta take the plastic piece off of here. Oh, there's 2 plastic pieces. Oh, okay. There we go. There we go. So let's go ahead and turn this over and take a look at our clover. Oh, this is holding your hand and holding a bag of money. It's like you're tied to money on some level, is what I kind of get from that. This is a very abundant clover. This is also a flowering, blooming, abundant clover. All right, so the message in here, I think with all of them, is luck, fortune, opportunities, prosperity, wealth, and relationships. I've also seen it as luck, positive hope, risky, quick gamble. So things that you would attribute with short-term kind of like occurrences that appear lucky. So again, this says luck, surprise, money, chance, good fortune, and gambling. I think I want to go ahead and read the reflection question. It says, what is in your control and out of your control in your life right now? Do you feel compelled to gamble as a result of relying on luck? And 3, where in your life could you be more playful or spontaneous? And up here, I just want to show, it says, flowers surround in clover leaf mean happiness surmounted over grief. Bits of luck and fortune await. You have the potential to make life great. Ooh. I don't know. We're just going to have to keep going through. I don't think I'm going to read anymore. I'm just going to have to keep going through and kind of comparing these. Ship is typically a journey, travel, long distance. As I pick up the book again. It is maintaining the same kind of meanings. I think what's interesting is that she has added a shadow side. She's introducing a shadow side to this Lenormand deck instead of I believe that if these kind of come out in the reverse, she is introducing a shadow aspect in the definition. So in the questions, I mean, I feel like she's really maybe even adopted more of all of the shadow side of these cards because it is a shadow deck to help you on your shadow, learning and bringing to light your shadow. So the reflection questions for this one are, number 1, what journey are you delaying? 2, do hidden fears stop you from moving forward in general? And 3, what deep or underlying grief do you need to acknowledge? I think those are excellent questions. I think those are excellent questions in seeking out your shadow. So then we have the house, keywords, home, dwelling, psyche, household activity, neighborhood, neighbors, immediate family. I'd say the thing that's missing from that is like stability, structure. And then if you then it's, in this card, it breaks it down into personal, a person. If it's a person, they're kind of like a traditional person, maybe a homebody. So if you see this paired with a female card or the male card, I don't know. I'm going to say that this is a new and darker take on Lenormand than I would have expected for sure. So what steps can you take to make your home a sanctuary? How might identifying any toxic attributes of your environment assist you? How do you relate to your neighbors and or neighborhood? And I'm going to zoom in. I think I'm going to stick with these 2 decks here, and we're going to stop comparing these other ones here because there's just too many decks to undo here. We got ship and the house. But you can kind of see how other artists have interpreted these cards. I'm going to go ahead and reframe here. Look at that house has got so many feet on it. It looks like you could walk away. It looks like it is walking away. Yeah, what are your fears about home and stability, right? What are your fears about moving? It's kind of like what I'm like, So this one, the reflection questions are, what steps could you take to make your home a sanctuary? 2, how might identifying any toxic attributes of your environment assist you? 3, how do you relate to your neighbors and neighborhood? Tree is typically health, in terms of the life area. Here it says, I don't agree with oh wait, sorry. I was like, I don't agree with this. It says home. It is not home because I'm on house. I said I'm not going to read the book, but here I go. All right. So tree. Keywords are health and well-being, lungs, heart, circulatory system, family, heritage, and roots. And I would say that the card next to that agrees with that quite a bit. The reflection questions, how do you generally assess your overall well-being? 2, do you have what you require right now to feel secure? And 3, how often do you get physical checkups? So if this is close to you, you might want to go to the doctor, right? If it's close to the male or the female querent in the reading, maybe that's go to the doctor. All right, we have clouds. Temporary confusion, anxiety, bad mood, lack of clarity, protection from a storm. Reflection questions. Number 1, what makes you feel pessimistic? 2, do rainy days ever bring comfort to you? 3, what or who is your symbolic umbrella when stressed or confused? All right, so I officially just love this card right now. It totally resonated for me. It reminded me of a letter that my partner wrote me. And he said in that, no relationship is all sunshine, but 2 people can share one umbrella and survive the storm together. And what a beautiful kind of sentiment for this card, and it being in the reflection question is, who is your symbolic umbrella? Who is going to survive the storm with you? Ooh, I'm liking this deck more and more. Off the bat, it didn't start out as, I didn't feel like that writer was like congruent with like, the definitions that you see in other cards. But in these later cards, boy, I feel like she nailed it. Nailed it. All right. So the snake, I always hate seeing the snake one, and it's in the deck. So when you do a Lenormand deck, it's in every reading. So it's like, where are the lies in my life? It's kind of how I feel like that. A snake gives me like a very 7 of Swords vibe. But the keywords for this one says hidden, betrayal, gossip against you, competitor, jealousy, behind your back. I like maybe seeing it as a competitor, because like betrayal and jealousy and gossip all just hurt. I know that they happen, but I don't like to pay it. I don't give energy to it. That's what it is. I just won't give energy to it. All right. So hidden betrayal, gossip against you, competitor, jealousy, and behind your back. This one says lies, deceit, betrayal, difficulty, enemy, jealousy. So basically the same thing. Reflection questions. When you have felt betrayed, when have you felt betrayed? Do you place your trust in people easily? And 3, looking at the card, would you advise the person on the bench to acknowledge the snake or ignore it? Oh, I just feel called out in that question. Like, I don't see the lies, deceit, and deception, but here it's saying maybe you ought to look a little closer. It's going to eat you. All right. And I almost feel like self-deception too. Like, right, if you're being deceptive, like that lie is going to eat you too. Anyway, coffin, transformation, ending and resurrection, completion and rebuilding, healing from sorrow. The shadow is defeat, inability to begin again and move forward, refusal to acknowledge pain from loss. Reflection questions. What should you be ending that no longer gives you joy? 2, have you locked away grief that could be revisited and resolved? 3, what could you resurrect in your life that you thought was finished? 9, the bouquet. Keywords: gift, ceremony, grace, charm, romance, appealing offer, proposition, charisma, shadow, strings attached to gifts, potential stalker, unwanted attention. Wow. She's Shadowland lady. So Monica Bodirsky is the Shadowland lady. So I'm going to say she's killing it on the shadow side of these meanings. All right. Number 1, reflection question. Do you prefer giving or receiving gifts? Number 2, what is an ideal romance for you? And 3, have you ever felt manipulated when receiving gifts or offered them to get your way? Then we have 10, the Sith. Harvest, completion, unexpected or swift ending. The shadow is sudden or continued aggression, potential violence. And the reflection questions: what sudden ending has left you residual insecurities? 2, does fear of poor outcomes hold you back? And 3, have you assessed any relationships that feel abusive? Ooh, this is a good one. Oh. 11, broom. And is also the whip. The brooms is also the whip. And it means, okay, so I'm confuzzled. This must be like, I've seen the brooms before. The whip is negative energy. So I think what she did, and I think other people have done this as well, is that the whip is too negative. So they use the broom to clear out negative energy, is what I'm gathering. But typically, I believe it is, let's see, number 11. It is typically a whip. Let's see the blue Lenormand and see. But I know I saw it as a broom somewhere else. Here we go. So I think in the original, this one is a birch rod, right? So we've got a whip and we've got a birch rod. And I'm like, you could be whipped with a tree branch, right? And you can also use the tree branch as a broom if you gather them together. So I am curious about the origin of that. I'm sure I'll learn it as I continue on this path. But definitely interesting. So brooms, and this is cleaning, sweeping out unwanted energies, decluttering, boundaries, and banishing. And the reflection questions are, number 1, what physical areas need clearing in your life? 2, what behaviors no longer serve your psychological needs? And 3, are there relationships in your life that need to be reevaluated? We got 12 is the birds. Some decks have 2 of these cards. So the keywords are travel, busy work, juggling many small tasks, distractions. The shadow side of that is anxiety, chatting, gossip, feeling held captive by responsibilities. I feel like you can, I think that there is a pretty big deviation. It's hard. The keywords, because I feel like the chatting and the gossip is true for this card, across decks, right? But she's representing that in the shadow aspect, whereas in the upright, it's busy work, travel, juggling many small tasks. And I just don't see that, I guess, in the meaning of this card. But I like that it's adding that angle. Like, I don't know if I'll use this more as an oracle deck or as a Lenormand deck. I probably will use it both ways. But I do feel like the core definitions are slightly being altered, which I'm not mad at. I mean, there's no right or wrong in divination. But I kind of like her tilt on it, her slant on it. I think it's a bit more modern. I kind of like it. Okay. So number 1 for the reflection questions, are you jumping from one project to another without finishing any of them? 2, in what areas of your life do you desire freedom? And 3, does sharing gossip ever make you feel empowered? All right. 13, child. Esteem, valued, precious, innocence, imagination. In the shadow, immature, inexperienced, unrealistic, naive, feeling inept. The reflection questions. What do you miss most about being a child? 2, were you or your behavior ever called childish? And 3, what was your favorite pastime as a child? 14. Keywords. It's a fox. It's camouflage, charming, strategic, well-spoken, ability to be visible or invisible at will. And the shadow is deceit, jealousy, cunning, duplicity, and dishonesty. I always think of the fox as clever. I like that he's wearing a mask, so that's showing that deceit. So I do kind of feel like the shadow aspect of this is probably encompasses the Lenormand meaning of the card that I understand it to be. All right, so number one reflection, where are you being deceitful in your life? How do you deal with jealousy in yourself and others? And 3, are you charmed or deceived easily? I really liking the book on this, because oftentimes, your best readings are the ones where you've asked good questions. And I feel like the reflection questions are incredibly good. I think they're great. I think they're great questions. I can see using this quite a bit. All right, so moving on to, oh wait, I didn't finish the fox, did I? Where are you being deceitful in your life? 2, how do you deal with jealousy in yourself and others? And 3, are you charmed or deceived easily? There we go. The bear, which is money, right? Oh, maybe not. It is, though. The bear is money. All right, so we've got strong-willed, powerful mother or mother-in-law figure, finances, and protective. The shadow side is troubles, strife, investment issues, threat, domineering behavior. Reflection questions. Number 1, when you look at the drawing, do you identify with the figure standing on the bear or the bear? In which instance has your strength, number 2, in which instance has your strength been an asset, a challenge, or unrecognized? And 3, do you have strong female role models in your life? Moving on to the star. Keywords is community, the internet, networking, success, optimism. On the shadow side, isolation, arrogance, self-centeredness, overconfidence, being a loner. Reflection questions. Number 1, who is in your network? Number 2, how do you share information or support others in your community? Number 3, which connections have you neglected? 17, the stork. Keywords: beginnings, a baby, a new project, new home, new work location, and change. In the shadow, it's unwilling to begin a new project or move location, fear of change. Reflection questions: how do you feel about moving to a new home? 2, what are you giving birth to at this moment? 3, what type of excitement do you crave? 18, dog, loyalty, friendships, trust, reliability, good partnerships. In the shadow, blind loyalty, accepting deceit, mistrust, lack of loyalty. Oh, and the reflection questions: where are you placing your loyalty right now? 2, how do you define trust? And 3, who do you consider your allies? 19, tower. Keywords: strength, success, accountability, leadership, longevity, ethical authority. Shadow: abuse of power, isolation, ego, fear of responsibility, bad boss. And the reflection questions: number 1, how do you feel about being a leader? 2, does isolation factor into your fears of success? And 3, what role models do you have for effective leadership? The garden, number 20. Keywords: friends, social gatherings, shared green spaces, community groups. In the shadow, social anxiety, introvert, needing excessive attention and validation. Reflection questions: how do you feel about socializing in general? Do you give yourself adequate time to recover from illness or stress? And 3, how do you define community? 21, mountain. Large task, long journey, challenging situation. In the reverse, blockage, impasse, feeling defeated by challenges, insurmountable obstacles. Reflection questions: how do you react to large issues or tasks? 2, when faced with obstacles, at what point do you feel like giving up? And when do you move ahead? What alternative approaches could you consider? All right, number 22, crossroads. So here you see paths. I've seen roads. All right. Keywords: decision, change of direction, choice, crisis, intersection, shadow, indecision, fear of change, immobility, lack of accountability. Reflection questions. Number 1, when faced with decisions, how do you react? 2, which choices have been easiest to make and which ones have been the most difficult? 3, when you travel, do you use visual cues for directions, a GPS, or both? Mice. All right, the mice. Petty theft, small worries, incremental losses, deterioration. In the shadow, ignoring anxiety, addressing small issues without addressing the source, allowing ourselves to be slowly depleted. Reflection questions. List 5 small things that make you crazy. 2, what 5 things would keep you in spiritual cupboard at all times? 3, what do mice represent to you? Disease, dirty, don't belong here, not inside. Those are all the things I think about mice. Okay, 24 is the heart. Love, compassion, emotion, lasting relationships. In the shadow, ignoring grief and heartache, infatuation, fear of vulnerability. Reflection questions. 1, do you hide the wounds in your heart? 2, when do you feel safe to share your heart's desire? 3, where do you place most of your love and compassion? 25, the ring. Marriage, commitment. This refers to personal and business partnerships, pledge, teamwork, commitment, union, marriage. Shadow, it's isolation, lack of commitment, ego, separation. Reflection questions. Do you long for partnership of some type? 2, is this a time to ask for collaboration in business to share your workload? 3, how do you feel about romantic commitments in general? 26 is book. Keywords: knowledge, information, secret, studying, education, inquiry, wisdom. In the shadow, ignorance, gossip, misinformation, rumors, being dogmatic or rigid. Reflection questions. How are you willing to spend time reflecting and finding the answers you seek? How willing are you to spend time reflecting and finding the answers you seek? 2, when does studying seem intimidating to you? 3, what type of knowledge provides you with self-confidence and security? 27, the letter. Keywords: correspondence, text, message, email, contract, written document, or communication. In the shadow, procrastination of correspondence, poor communication skills. And the reflection questions. Number 1, are you up to date with sending correspondence? 2, what letter did you receive in the past that affected you deeply? And 3, have you ever misinterpreted a letter's meaning or intent? When did this occur? Then we have the man. And I have noticed that many decks will have a younger man and an older man, a younger woman and an older woman, or like, yeah, we'll just leave it at that. Younger and older is what they have in most decks. A man with a bat hovers above the ground. Okay, sorry. This image represents a man or male identified seeker in a reading. In the shadow, inability to see a person as a complex individual beyond their creed, age, gender, ethnicity, or abilities. Reflection questions. Number 1, when do you feel close to someone emotionally? 2, what are your male role models, if any? And 3, what do you consider masculine traits? 29 is the woman. Her keywords are symbolic femininity, a female gender, identification, a female identified love interest or person close to you. Shadow, inability to see a person as a complex individual beyond their creed, age, gender, ethnicity, or abilities. Reflection questions. Number 1, how do you define femininity? 2, what constitutes loyalty to you? 3, what female role models do you have currently or have you had in the past? 30. Lily. Keywords: maturity, experience, platonic love, wisdom, happiness, and joy. Oops, sorry. Wisdom, happiness, and loyalty. Shadow: immaturity, imprudence, bitterness, lack of loyalty. Reflection questions. 1. How does your overall experience relate to your personal relationships? 2. Do you currently have a mentor? 3. About what or whom do you reminisce? 31. Keywords: positive energy, warmth, optimism, summer, success, happiness, joy, carefree, outdoors. Shadow: feeling pressure to be cheerful and smile, fear of success, inability to allow yourself time to be joyous and playful. Reflection questions. 1. Do you act happy when you don't feel this way? 2. What is your idea of success? And 3. What is your idea of success and how does it differ from those ideas of others? And 3. What place offers you the greatest joy? Then we have the moon, which is our emotions. And it says career, fame, promotion, being well regarded in your profession. In the shadow, it's insecurity, inability to accept compliments, timidity. Reflection questions. Reflection questions. How do you feel your peers see your professional reputation? 2. When do you feel invisible in your career or job? 3. What personality differences do you feel you present publicly and privately? 33. The key. Knowledge, access, responsibility, solution, opportunities. Breakthrough, insight, epiphany. In the shadow, ignorance, inaccessibility, elitism, systemic, prejudice, denying access, secrets. Reflection questions. What knowledge are you seeking? 2. What things are inaccessible for you? 3. What realizations have occurred to you recently? 34 is the fish. All right, fish. Business opportunities, financial gain, money deals. Shadow: lack of opportunity, financial losses, empty promises. Reflection questions. What potential business opportunities do you feel you have? 2. How do you assess risk when entering into agreements? 3. What financial aspirations do you hold? There we go. 35. The anchor. Keywords are security, safety, hope, rest, stability. Shadow: feeling stuck, inability to leave a seemingly secure situation, loss of hope. Reflection questions. Where is your safe haven? 2. What causes you to feel confined? 3. What gives you the greatest hope? And lastly, the cross. The cross. Faith. Keywords are faith, allowing room for grief and loss, accepting responsibility. In the reverse, denying grief and loss, difficult times, feeling unnecessarily obliged. Reflection questions. What are your current obligations? 2. Where do you place your faith? 3. Have you denied yourself time to grieve? And yeah, that's it. You guys have to let me know what you think of these cards. I love the book. I 100% love the book. I think that I will bond with these cards simply because I love the book so much. I'm going to need those visual cues to kind of pull up those questions as I learn the Lenormand. But I do love, and I will definitely probably use this as an oracle deck to memorize these cards and kind of go through this. I do really feel like this is a very healing deck, and I think that you can use many of the questions. Like my plan is to, and I'm just going to start shuffling these so we can do our deck interview. But my plan is I will probably pull these cards out, like one card a day, read the card, read the questions, and then pull cards on the reflection questions. Probably pull my tarot cards out for the reflection questions. Or other oracle cards too, but I think this is an excellent book. I think the book is great. And I love her artwork. It's so childish and very kind of Dr. Seussy kind of feel to it. I do love gilded edges. Not everybody does. I understand too, because they can kind of be sharp. And they, as they wear down, they don't look as pretty, but I like them. I do like edging the decks, and I haven't done it to my own because I don't have the stuff, but I'm getting the stuff, so I'll be edging my decks. It'll help me kind of differentiate them on my shelf as well. I do like to shuffle like 6 times, so you guys can, and then after the 6 times, and it's like whenever the cards tell me that they're done, it's kind of when I start doing the reading. So you guys are welcome to fast forward any part of that, or any part of this. What personality does this deck have? What is the personality of this deck? Whoa. So I think health. I'm only going to read the uprights because the whole deck is, yeah. So health. Ooh. I want to say health, stability, and honesty is kind of how I'm thinking of this. I don't think that the deck itself is deceitful. I think it is there to root out the things that are lies, that where you're lying to yourself, right? So like, we're all beautiful. We are all deserving of love. We all deserve to like ourselves, right? So if you look in the mirror and you say something negative towards yourself, you're telling yourself a lie, because it doesn't feel good. And if it doesn't feel good, then you're not in alignment with spirit. So I feel like there is, that to be healthy, this deck is looking to root out or de-anchor or remove things that are unhealthy and are not true about ourselves. That's kind of how I feel. I definitely feel like this deck is here to help you root out the things that no longer serve you for your highest good, for your health. What is your strength? What is your strength? What is your strength? Ooh, cutting away the things that no longer serve you. That's exactly what I feel about that. Yeah, I think that it's about, what is your strength? I'm going to look it up a little bit. I think its strength is putting an end to like allowing you to lie to yourself. Putting an end to those kinds of thoughts that are not true. What is your weakness? Yeah, cutting away the ideas that no longer serve you. The beliefs that no longer serve you. What is your weakness? Well, your weakness, the key. Importance. Her meanings are slightly different than what I know. So it can't help you be successful. Wait, where is it? Nope, that's the wrong one. So I'm gonna read the keywords here for both the shadow and you can decide for yourself what the weakness is for these cards. But I'm feeling like it can't cure ignorance is kind of what I'm, it can't do anything with prejudice. But the keywords on here is knowledge, access, responsibility, solution, opportunities, breakthrough, insights, epiphanies. It can't do those things for you. It can't cure ignorance, inaccessibility, elitism, systemic prejudice, denying access, or secrets. So I just don't feel like, I think it can't provide opportunities to access parts of the world that are currently inaccessible. It has no power in that respect. All right, so what are we doing now? When should I, how will you help me grow? How will you help me to grow? How will you help me to grow? These cards feel very nice. How will you help me to grow? Mice. Mice, by coming to you with stress, anxiety, help you to grow through the stress and anxiety. I think that sounds right. Keywords: petty theft, small worries. So help you grow through small worries. And anxiety, and maybe even some of the things that you've ignored. When should I call on you for guidance? When should I call on you for guidance? Oh, that's when I should call on you for guidance, right? I went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There we go. Sorry. What's the best way to work with you? What is the best way to work with you? Money. Mother. Female. Like, what was the bear? It was all like motherhood, nurturing energy, right? Strong-willed, powerful mother or mother-in-law figure, finances protected, shadows, trouble, strife, investment issues, threat, domineering behavior. I just kind of feel like anytime you encounter a person, place, or thing that is causing you some sort of stress, I feel like this is a card deck to kind of help you work through that, and simply by asking some of those questions that it comes out with, that are in the book, I think are excellent ways to kind of address the problem that you're having, maybe kind of get a different perspective and a true knowing of how you truly feel. What will our relationship be like? What will our relationship be like? House, foundation, we'll be family. You're gonna be part of my family. All right, so, and it says home, dwelling, psyche, household, activity, neighborhood, neighbors, immediate family, shadow, too much activity in the home, entrapment, psychological trauma, or anxiety. And I just feel like it's going to make your psyche a home. That is what I got from the reading. Like, our relationship, it will make my psyche a habitable place. Oh, I like this deck a lot. I really, really like the book. Please tell me, you guys, what you think of this deck, how you feel about Lenormand if you haven't started on that yet. It will come across your journey if you're doing any kind of collecting or tarot reading at any in-depth. Lenormand is super cool, though. I do like it. But if you like it too, please like, subscribe, and share. Let me know how you feel about the cards. Comments definitely help the channel to grow as well. Thank you again, everybody, for watching. Have a beautiful, blessed day. We'll see you again soon.